A pleasure to meet all at last, and welcome back to Super Foam Flying. And now for today, this particular HGN episode is going to be going in a bit more of a feminine turn. I mean it. A more feminine turn, because today is going to be the time where I actually get to talk about some more blasters relating to the Rebel line. And this is in fact one of those that I've been wanting to get for a long time. And there's plenty of other things to pick out when it comes to Rebel blasters, lineups, and accessories. But this is in fact the Courage Crossbow, which primarily came out of a Rebel line that was certainly a bit different than most. The Secrets and Spies series was in fact a whole different look compared to how the Rebel line was originally. With many different color schemes to choose from, the Rebel series was a bit more of a complex turn in contrast to what we were able to get with most other lineups. Like the Zombie Strike series primarily has green color all over it. Rival blasters at first started off with blue and red to signify two different factions fighting each other. And then you had the Modulus blasters, which were primarily white in color. But in this particular case, the nice sort of turquoise blending in with the purple, hot pink, and dark gray. It sure does come together in a pretty amazing fashion. You even got a couple other sort of light lavender colored accenting on the sides, and some pretty nice decorations, signals, logos, etc. But the Courage Crossbow is a bit more than just the sum of its color scheme by any means. This one actually does, in fact, operate in the same way to how several other different bolt blasters, as I've called them, operate. You simply insert a bolt through the chamber here. You gotta press it until it locks into place with the string. As you can see back here, it's in its prime position, and then, well, the trigger is, in fact, ready to fire. There we go. This one's a bit stiff because it was in fact sitting out for a long time, but it's still got a little bit of dust on it. How did I not notice that? But in any case, well, that was pretty much the only bolt I had on me at this point, so that's just pretty much what it looked like from there. But in terms of anything else I'd have to talk about this, then well, let's just mention the fact, first of all, that the ergonomics on this one are just low. And I mean it when I say low. I mean, look at that. The sort of weird ribbed pattern on it, the skeletal sort of thing, where it's like in a honeycomb-esque pattern on it. It very much reminds me of another lineup that sucks horribly. And if you guessed the Alpha Strike line, you'd be correct. The fact that they actually had this sort of grip design on it with weird plastic cutouts that could do some damage to your hands leaves a lot of marks all over it, like I'm seeing a few right now. I'm serious when I say that, well, I mean, while this one actually does do a whole lot better compared to most other bolt blasters out there, being micro-sized, very nimble, very easy to sway around, as you can see, because of how lightweight it is, very easy to draw back like that. It barely even took a full second for me to pull the thing back and lock it in place. A single tactical rail on the top, and I'm more than sure that this thing also had its way of storing extra bolts on the top of the arms, like so. Except I couldn't really find out how to do that, so unfortunately that's just the reason why I don't have, well, what do you know? Looks like I might have found that. These little hooks that are underneath the arms themselves seem to be the way that you can in fact hold extra bolts. It's just, well, the fact that I didn't actually carry any extra bolts on this, and it's just pretty much what you see here. What you see is what you get, if you will. But I feel like that other than that, well, the Courage Crossbow could have been a whole lot better for the most part. And the Rebel line certainly had actually lived pretty lengthily, spawning a lot of different sub-lineups, including the Code Red series, the Charmed series, the Allegiance series, and many others, actually. The Rebel line was, at the time, the biggest, most expansive series that Nerf had to offer. And being a lineup that was actually marketed towards female players, and when it comes to Nerf Wars or HVZ competitions or etc., this lineup surely did hold out on its own for some odd reason before Nerf eventually closed the doors silently on this series in 2018. Since then, we pretty much have had no contact with this series whatsoever. A lot of the different sad news that we've been getting over the past 5 to 10 years relating to Nerf products and whatnot, they certainly have been coming along like crazy. And yet, I do feel there's a lot of different things about this that would have to do with the way that Nerf just wants to do things their way instead of our way. But yet, you know what? I'm probably going to have to let this one go here, because the Courage Crossbow does not necessarily hold up in the same way as well the Wrath Bolts from the Zombie Strike series, which is also a compact, portable bolt blaster. And it is pretty much the same exact shape even. Just having a grip, having a bow arm on the top, having a large string that you pull back, and a breech and a little chamber to store one bolt at a time. Except in this case, you can actually store 2 extra bolts, so that's 3 that you can carry with all at once. And unless you do have the money for a lot of refill packs in the bolts, like I pretty much did, I was able to buy a lot of them on eBay. I now have at least 30 of them on me, as a matter of fact. But it's just too bad that this is probably one of the only bolt blasters that Nerf has ever made. A lot of the others would include the Wrath Bolt, Dread Bolt, and then I'm pretty sure there was also a compound bow that could use these bolts. But in any case, this just simply means that Nerf had not gotten along a very big path to make blasters like this. It certainly hadn't lasted that long back then, and I'm more than sure that it wouldn't come back. Maybe not for a while, but only time will tell what the future holds. But in any case, it's still, at least it does a decent job at being a bolt blaster that's more compact and portable and a bit more functional and better speed loading than most other bolt blasters I've seen so far. If you want to see more, go down to my channel, then make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.